The time has finally come to rank the Dark Knight Trilogy. What's going on, guys? I'm Chris, and welcome back to another video. So I'm actually astounded that I've never made this video. I think in the first few months of my channel, I actually reviewed the Dark Knight Trilogy in a singular video, but I've never actually ranked the movie, so I'm going to do that today. But before I do that, make sure to hit the like button, comment your ranking of the Dark Knight Trilogy down below, and make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future Batman-related videos. So I want to preface this by saying I absolutely love every single one of these movies. There is not a bad movie in this trilogy, and it is arguably the greatest trilogy of all time. So coming in last place for me is going to be Batman Begins. Now, I love this movie. I think it is a perfect origin story for Bruce Wayne / Batman, and it's really awesome and rewarding to watch this movie after you've rewatched every single live-action Batman movie leading up to it, because my goodness, we got some stinkers in the 90s, especially the Joel Schumacher-era movies, and getting to see a grounded and serious take on Batman is honestly surreal. This movie is so well done. I love the way that Nolan directs it, where he kind of intertwines these different time periods in Bruce Wayne's life together to really make a coherent story that really sets up his character as someone you can root for. My favorite sequence in this movie definitely has to be in the first act when he's training and they're sword fighting on the ice. He's learning these little tidbits that's going to come to fruition in his character throughout the trilogy. Cillian Murphy plays Scarecrow in this movie, and I think he does a really good job. The visual effects are actually pretty creepy in the scenes where he puts the fear potion into people's eyes and they end up hallucinating. Like, there's one scene where Batman catches on fire and he's falling from the sky. And I think the way that they handle Bruce Wayne's parents dying is really effective as well, especially this scene where Bruce goes back to try and enact vengeance on Joe Chill, and right before he's about to pull the gun on him and shoot him, Joe Chill actually gets shot and killed right in front of his eyes. I always love moments where a character has a revelation. That's probably a sign from a larger being that I shouldn't be enacting vengeance like this, and that's a crucial moment in his character arc. This movie does a great job of setting up Bruce Wayne as the Batman, and by the end of the movie, you get teases of Joker, the bat signal is a thing, and it's just one of the best superhero origin stories of all time. My runner-up for my favorite movie from this trilogy is going to be The Dark Knight Rises. Now, in my opinion, this is probably the most overhated comic book movie of all time. I really do think it doesn't deserve the hate that it gets, and I don't know why it gets so much hate. I think there's certain moments that can be a little cheesy, especially the one scene that's being critiqued to death online right now. Like, yes, that's terrible acting, and it's very weird that that made the final cut of the movie, but that's like 1 second of the entire movie. It's 2 hours and 45 minutes long. This is one of the best comeback stories ever, because Batman is in his lowest of lows at the start of this movie. It's been 8 years since The Dark Knight. He's literally developed like kidney scarring, and his knees don't even work the same way they used to. He's basically been a recluse for all this time since Harvey Dent died. He has to come to terms with the fact that Gotham City really needs a hero in Batman. One of my favorite scenes in the entire movie is when he has his showdown with Bane in the sewers, and Bane absolutely destroys him, ends up breaking his back, and then Bruce gets sent off to this pit, this prison, which is essentially hell. Not only is this a moment of showing Bruce the most vulnerable he's ever been, but having to overcome this adversity and climb out of that pit, and he fails a few times. And I really view this scene of him rising up out of the pit and eventually getting out of it as like a metaphor for life. Like, you can try something over and over and fail, but how you respond to that failure and that adversity is how you are as a person. Like, are you willing to get knocked down and get back up again? That's how I view The Dark Knight Rises. Like, when I really want to get some motivation and want to go after there and get after it, I'll watch that scene where they start chanting. And by the way, I have no damn clue what they're saying. If someone actually knows, let me know in the comments down below. I think my boy Trevor from Film Geeks knows exactly what they say. I kind of just go, I need water.
Water is for cowards.
Damn, Denzel. But all jokes aside, that scene is phenomenal. It's one of the best standout scenes in the entire movie. And a lot of people complain about Bruce's returning to Gotham. How did he get back? Who the hell cares? He's Batman.
I'm Batman. You're goddamn right.
The final act of this movie is great. It's non-stop tension from start to finish. The score by Hans Zimmer just makes everything 10 times better than it actually is. Batman sacrifices himself to save Gotham City, but of course he ends up living in the end. But I really like the scene before that where Alfred breaks down at his funeral. I failed you, Master Wayne. That always gets you a little bit teary-eyed. It has the perfect setup for Robin. I think we were robbed of a Robin movie with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I would be watching that day one. And Bane is so menacing for like the first 2/3 of this movie. By the end, he kind of becomes a little weak, which kind of taints his overall legacy as a villain, but he's still a badass. And the final shot of this movie is perfection when we see Alfred at that cafe and he looks out and he sees Bruce with Selina. They've erased their identity. They've started fresh. It's perfect. They get a new fresh start. Everyone's happy. And again, we see Robin basically becoming the next Batman, or Robin. Perfect conclusion. But the best movie and my favorite movie from the Dark Knight trilogy has to be The Dark Knight. It goes without saying this is one of the best movies of the 21st century. I think it's like number 4 or 5 on IMDb's top 250 right now. And Heath Ledger gives the best performance, arguably, of all time. I mean, it's really hard to think of even a handful of performances that come close to this performance Ledger gave, because the dude is an absolute menace. He's terrifying on screen, but he's also got this comedic darkness to him where, like, you can laugh at certain things he does, like, I'm gonna make this pencil disappear. There's so much mystery behind his character, and Heath Ledger really committed to this role. Obviously, rest in peace to Heath Ledger, gone too soon, but he put his heart and soul into this performance, and he delivered one of the most iconic of all time that people will be looking at and remembering for years to come. This is also one of the most quotable Batman movies, but also just quotable movies in general. Like, you could pinpoint 20 different quotes from this movie, but I think the standout has to be, you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And the final scene between Batman and Joker is one of the best dialogue scenes from a Christopher Nolan movie, and Joker kind of wins in the end because he took the White Knight of Gotham and Harvey Dent and made him evil. The moment where Batman ends up taking the blame for everything and taking the fall for something he didn't do just epitomizes what Batman is. He takes the fall for the actions of Harvey Dent to maintain Harvey's legacy, which in a way taints Batman's legacy, but that's what he's willing to do to protect the city of Gotham and keep the people safe in the public eye. The movie's masterfully acted and directed from the opening heist scene to the final showdown with Harvey Dent. The score is so damn good. Hans Zimmer is a legend. We all know this. Might be his best work. I love him in The Dark Knight Rises as well. Hans Zimmer and Christopher Nolan are a match made in heaven when it comes to them scoring and directing films together, and The Dark Knight is just a perfect movie, simply put. For the past 2 years, I've questioned. I'm like, is this movie really worth the hype? Does it deserve all of the praise that we give it? And the answer is yes, it does. It is not at all overrated or overhyped. It is perfectly rated because it is one of the best comic book movies ever made. It definitely deserves all the hype. It might just be Nolan's best movie. Is it the best Batman movie? We'll have to wait and see. That's all I'm going to say. But that's going to do it for my ranking of the Dark Knight Trilogy. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to see my written reviews of these films, follow me on Letterboxd at Filmstocked. I recently rewatched them all over there. You can go check out my ranking. I have a bunch of lists over there as well. Make sure to follow me on all my social medias. Those are linked down below. Yesterday, I was actually able to see The Batman, so I have a post over there. Follow me on TikTok. I talk about it briefly over there. I'll have my full review for The Batman on Monday, February 28th, so make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you do not miss out on that review. I am over the moon excited to talk about this movie with you guys, so you do not want to miss out on that review. But I got a ton of content coming, especially related to Batman in the month of March, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of that. I have a Patreon where you can get extra videos, get to know me more on a personal level, and a ton of other perks. That is linked down below. But thank you guys again for watching, and until next time, I'll see you guys later.